As you guys know, and I've been walking through this, I went to a rally in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, and talked to Trump supporters. I have for you today maybe one of the most interesting ones. It was a guy I talked to who you'll see in this interview fully admits to being a QAnon supporter. Now, I don't think, okay, maybe, but I don't think I've talked to someone who said that to me. I have reasoned that someone I was speaking to likely believes in QAnon beliefs because there's so many people in our country who do, but no one had just outright admitted it. So take a look at this from the interview I did with a guy on the ground at this Trump rally. Truly fascinating.
I'm pretty far down the rabbit hole, so I don't know what I think right now. So
what does that mean? Describe that for me.
Well, it's just everything that's going on in the world and has been going on in the world, and I mean, it's a lot of we'll call it conspiracy theories, you know.
Just for the heck of it, for the game, what would you say your most wild conspiracy theory would be?
I guess there's really not a wildest one. I mean, they're all conspiracy theories until they're proven true or the masses believe them. So, I mean, there's been some wild ones over the time, you know, with all the child sex trafficking and Donald Trump being the first president to fight against that. It's not a conspiracy theory; it's the truth.
So, child sex trafficking, huge problem. Totally agree with you. That should be addressed. It's the connection, I guess, to it's the Democratic Party who's doing this and Biden's in the back room.
It's good versus evil. It's not Republican versus Democrat. There are a lot of evil people in the world, period, whether they're Democrat or they're Republican rhinos. And they're bad for the party, bad for the country. And
does Trump's relationship with Epstein before he died bother you at all?
I don't think so.
So he's talking about child sex trafficking. And then I'm like, okay, I'm not making an accusation against Trump specifically, but I'm just saying, does it bother you that one of the most renowned, is that the right word, or famous child sex traffickers, Jeffrey Epstein, was a close buddy of the guy you're here to support? And before I could even finish the sentence, nah, no problem at all. You'll see it takes a while for me to get him to just outright admit to being a QAnon supporter, but we get there.
No,
doesn't bother you?
I don't think so. No,
Gotcha.
It doesn't bother me because if anything, I would think that it would be like an inside, you know what I mean? Like he was on the inside getting intel, like same thing he did with the mafia people that stayed in his hotels, and they were getting information back years ago in Trump hotels.
So he's playing Epstein.
I think so, yeah.
He's not just friends with him. That's not realistic, that he would just be friends, two billionaires with one another. It's more realistic that there's a whole operation going on that Trump is a part of to infiltrate the Epstein, situation. Interesting. Would this fall under QAnon?
QAnon is what was made up by the mainstream media. It's either Q and then you have Anons, which are anonymous people that follow it. So the whole thing that was put together as QAnon, that isn't a real entity. That was something that was
would you
coined.
say, yes, Q has sent me some of my information?
You have Anons, which are anonymous people that disseminate the Q posts and everything else. So QAnon is not per se a person or a group.
He was really intent on making sure I understood that QAnon's not the group, but there are Anons who follow Q. Very important to him.
Or an entity.
Gotcha. That makes sense. And I guess I'm saying the beliefs that the Anons subscribe to would be in line with yours.
Would be Q.
Which is in line with yours.
Yeah, well, yes.
Yeah, gotcha. There we go. Finally, I was like, yes, so you're supporting Q, and he finally, oh, yes. Woo, that's wild. I'm sorry. It's really...
Like I said, dude, I'm down a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been following this stuff for over 2 years now.
Gotcha.
Since the election, since he lost the election before with the fraud and everything else.
Right. So you're a real trooper for, engaging with this, so let me ask you, do you have moments where you go, shoot, maybe this is all not true?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that it's not true, but there's moments of despair that nothing's happening. Nothing's going to happen. It's a roller coaster. It is. It's been an emotional roller coaster for two plus years now.
Because I would plead with you as someone who doesn't subscribe to those things and have gone through the process through the proper evidence and the proper outlets and sources that you should go to for your information, come to the conclusion that I'll just say in a second, come to the conclusion that a lot of these things that seem really scary actually aren't true. And it's nice knowing that the truth isn't as bonkers as you might believe it is. So I would implore you that maybe the world isn't as much of like the story you've been told that it is.
What if it is?
Then I would need evidence to prove that it is, you know? So at the end there, once I didn't really know what to say once he said, yeah, I do subscribe to QAnon. And so then I was just feeling the need to plead with him to try to pull himself out. And I am not the best trained person to know how to deal with kind of like a cult follower. But I just wanted to maybe say, hey, I'm someone who's done a lot of work to confirm I'm getting my information and understanding of the world in the correct way. And don't you long a little bit, coming from someone who, again, I'm trying to convince you that's the case. It's not that the world's not horrible, because there's horrible things about the world, but it's not as mind-bendingly bonkers as you believe it is. And you don't have to feel so in despair as he said he was, because you believe that everything's being controlled by people who drink the blood of babies, right? Like, that's a lot. And while there's huge, vile parts of the real world, let's deal with those things without inventing new fabrications of the reality. And so did my best there, but Ben's favorite part of the whole interview is when he goes, but what if it is? I'm like,
I mean, how do you even argue with that? Like, you made so many good points, and then, but what if it is?
But what if it is?
Like,
and it's like, yeah, well, and how I ended it was, you would need evidence to believe that, because what you're saying is, yes, technically we can't know 100% for sure that something is not the case. That's always true. You can never know for sure that something's not the case. There's always that type of phrasing you could use. That's why you have to drive your understanding and beliefs and all these things through a lens of what can I prove is the case, and then build my understanding of the world that way, instead of just saying, whoa, what is this? What is it? And these two things connect, and this connects, and this connects, and this connects in a kind of a very thin way. And so I'm going to put it all together in the most crazy way possible. And hopefully at some point he can get out of that. Because I did see in a lot of the most kind of propagandized people's eyes a genuine sense of fear and despair about what they believed. And that's heartbreaking. Like I said, there's stuff to be in despair about and stuff to be afraid of in the real world. So no need to add on top of that fabricated stories that put Trump in the hero light as the guy who's going to go break down the child sex trafficking ring in Washington. Very interesting interaction there. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show hours before any of the clips are uploaded to YouTube, plus get access to an extra full show every Saturday that only members can see, you can do so by going to patreon.com/Luke Beasley. That's patreon.com/Luke Beasley, and there is a link in the description.